Hi, in this video we'll be talking about the non-local statement. This video is sort of complementary to my previous two videos on scopes and the global statement, so feel free to watch them first to have some background. Just as the global statement gives a function access to global variables, so does the non-local statement give nested functions access to variables in enclosing functions. There is one difference. The non-local statement can't be used to create a variable in non-local scope. We can read variables from non-local scope and write to them, but not create them in nested functions. This means the variable must be first defined in an enclosing function before it can be used. Before we see how the non-local statement works, let's have a look at an example where it's not used. Here we have a nested function that tries to change the value of a variable defined in an enclosing function. Here is the variable x defined in the enclosing function, and here inside the nested function we are trying to change the value to 2. And we should get two messages, the value in the nested function and the value in the enclosing function. So let's run this code. X in nested function 2, x in enclosing function 10. As we can see, the assignment to x in the nested function did not change the value of x in the enclosing function. Instead, it created a new local variable with the same name. If our goal is to be able to change the variable in the enclosing function, we have to add the non-local statement, like so. Non-local x. This means we're working on this non-local variable. So we're not creating a new local variable with the same name, but instead we're working on this variable, defined in the enclosing function. And now when we call this function, we should get the following three messages. X, the value of x in enclosing function before calling the nested function, and it was set to 10. Then we're calling the function, and this function returns this information, x in nested function, and it should be set to 2. And finally we get this message, x in enclosing function after being changed in the nested function. And here x should be equal to 2, because here we're changing the value of x in non-local scope, so in the enclosing function. Let's run this code now. X in enclosing function before calling the nested function 10. Okay, in a nested function 2. Fine. In enclosing function after being changed in the nested function 2. Okay, seems to work. So as we can see, now the variable from the enclosing function was indeed changed in the nested function. And now let's have a look at an example with a closure. If you're not sure what closures are, I have a video on closures, so feel free to give it a watch. To be brief, a closure is a function that remembers the value from its enclosing function even after the enclosing function has returned. Here we have an example of a closure with a non-local statement. The counter variable is defined in the enclosing function, which is the non-local scope for the nested function. In the nested function, we use the non-local statement. This means that from now on, we'll be using the variable from the enclosing function directly, so this one. The countdown function returns the nested last word function. What's important, it just returns the function. It doesn't call it. This way we can assign the function object to a variable. So let's run this code in interactive mode, and let's assign C to our enclosing function, countdown. Now C is the last word function returned from the countdown function when called, and we can use it like so. So C, go. So now C is the last word function. What does it actually do? Here we have a loop, and the loop is looping over the elements generated by the range function from counter, so from the value stored in this variable, down to 1 because 0 is not included, with a step of -1, which means in reverse order. So it's going to print the number, then 3 dots, the next number, 3 dots, and so on. And then, after all the numbers from this range are printed, it's gonna print this word. So, let's run this code, and we have 1 ... go. Here we get 1 ... go because now the counter variable is 1. But here in the last word function, the counter variable is incremented by 1, and actually this variable is incremented because this is the same variable. Because we're using nonlocal, we're working on the variable in the nonlocal scope. So this function now remembers the current value of counter, which now will be 2. So let's run this function again. For example, run, and we get 2, 1, run. Let's run it one more time. C, faster, 3, 2, 1, faster. As you can see, this counter value was incremented again. How about one more time? C, speed. And just one more time. C, gallop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, gallop. So this is how it works with closures. Okay, that's it for this video. If you like it, a thumbs up would be great. Also, make sure to subscribe for future videos. If you want to leave a comment or ask a question, you're welcome to do so. Thanks for watching.